Hi everyone. I'm shooting this video because for the last almost 5 years I'm working on a project which is relating to zero-point energy, and I feel the impulse to begin full disclosure of this information. It can be of assistance for many people. Now, in this video, you will about to listen a private private session, and a conversation between me and extraterrestrial consciousness or extraterrestrial being known as Bashar, in which you will be aware of what is the potential of this technology, how it can be scaled, and what it can do. Allow me, before you listen this recording, which is about 7 minutes, to share a little bit more about this, how everything began, just a few words about it. So I had never ever was interested in science or electrical or mechanical engineering and stuff like that. I was bartender all my life, but I was very passionate of what I'm doing and really wanted to do things very fast, very quickly. So I was competing with myself and with the time, doing my best to make things for a very short period of time. This passion required to organize the space in a particular way behind a bar and to make the orders quicker. And during the years, for about 20 years, I began to realize and experience the relationship between space and time. In order to be efficient in the time to make things quickly, you need to organize the space very meticulously, very precise, which will allow you to have a greater output for a short period of time. So this was an experience of interaction between space and time for me. I was also juggling with bottles and shakers, and it has nothing to do with science, this kind of thing, but it has to do with the experience of space and time, how they connect, how they relate. So this is what I had for the last maybe for 20 years of my life. But then in one day, I was very excited also to explore metaphysics and learn about the invisible world and gather information from alternative sources like extraterrestrial information, channel information. And I was listening Bashar, which is channeled from Dario Anka for many years. He very rarely talk about technology. He talk about consciousness, about cosmology, and to understand who we are, to understand the universe, how things work, so we can have a better lives. But from time to time, he allowed himself to talk about technology and to give us very interesting hints and directions what we could explore. And in one of his sessions, I was hooked up because he began to explain about space and time, how they relate, and what is time dilation, and how we actually can begin to build a device which can allow us to produce a zero-point energy or free energy. So I began these experiments like a DIY project sponsored with my own resources. But later on, soon enough, one person which is very generous proposed to make this full-time my job and supply all the resources, all the equipment and materials, and also to pay for me my salary, to cover my expenses so I can work full-time in that project. That was about 5 years ago. And I had to decide to leave my full-time job as a bartender, the things that I knew for 20 years, and to devote my time to this research. I took a risk because I was very excited. I was thinking about this all day long, making prototypes, researching. And after I began this journey, I was never ever had an opportunity before that to speak with Bashar directly. But because we begin to work with that person, we create an opportunity to speak with Bashar privately in private sessions and had a chance to ask very direct questions about those prototypes. What is the principles, how they work, what are the tolerances, what are the materials that they need to be built. And we had no clue in the beginning what we're dealing with. So we knew very little about that. But Bashar was passionate about us. He was loving and he was giving us as much information that we can allow ourselves to gather in every stage, in every step of the way. And during these 5 years, they were open many different synchronicities, which also allow to gather information from other extraterrestrials civilizations and to confirm independently that those principles, those prototypes, which described from Bashar, they're actually working and understand much better what is the principles and the laws behind them, how they actually operate and why they are able to do this free or 0 point energy. So having this extra information from another civilization which keep themselves anonymous, I had a chance to double check and confirm from Bashar, to ask him questions if they're right, those principles, those laws. And Bashar confirmed a lot from that. So we draw parallels from Bashar and from the other civilizations, and also had to begin to draw parallels from what we know in our conventional physics, from general relativity, special relativity, and quantum mechanics, in order to see and to combine the things and to put them in somehow in a level to understand them, to compare them of knowledge that we already know in our conventional physics. And we had a chance to speak with Bashar maybe 5 times in private sessions. And things really get very interesting every time he reveals more and more. But in this video in particular, I would like to share with you 7 minutes from our conversation in which he will talk about what is the scale, what is the potential of this technology, what we can build, and also to see that these ideas, it's an extension of Nikola Tesla work, of something that he was thinking to create with the Tesla coil, and to electrify and magnify the entire electromagnetic field of our planet, to make the Earth like a giant generator, and electricity or energy can be available everywhere. So the recording that you're about to hear, it's from 4 years ago, 2020, 9 of October. We had a private session then, and before that private session, I was inspired to see the different images in my mind, a structure, a network around the globe made out of those devices that Bashar is talking about. It was very weird, but at the end of the session, after 50 minutes, I decided to ask Bashar if this is true, if this vision actually it's valid, to seek confirmation. And for my surprise, Bashar not only gave us the confirmation, but also he calculates the exact size and proportions of those devices, the minimum sizes, and he gave us much more than I was expected. So in this video, I would like to share for the first time this information, which was kept more than 4 years, only for 2-3 people know about that. But I want to share it and see how we can collaborate, and how we can expand this, and how we can create more opportunities, or amplify the probability of this technology to happen in our reality as soon as possible. So allow me to share my sound and also my screen, and so you can listen our conversation and see what exactly do I mean by that. So you are about to listen to this conversation and decide for yourself if this is true or not, if it's resonating with you or not. Let me see. Okay, the sound is open. So here you can see on the left, you can see the device that is described from Bashar as a space-time antenna. This is the advanced version. There is another one version which look like a cones, but the conical version is just to help us understand the principles. While this version that you can see here, it's already constructed out of copper, but it's designed actually to create and to generate a zero-point energy. And in the middle here, this is the image which I receive before our session with Bashar, and which I ask. This is the grid or the network of the devices that I was thinking to ask him if they are placed, if they are arranged in such a network, what would be the effect, and if we can achieve the dream of Nikola Tesla, of his vision to create the Earth like a giant generator and have electricity everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And this is Bashar. This is, for those of you who are not familiar, Bashar, it's an extraterrestrial being that is channeled from Dario Anka. Dario Anka is from LA. This is his website, bashar.org. If you are more interested to gather information, he have extensive library for more than 40 years. He began to give us information from early 80s up to now on a very consistent basis. And from my opinion, he's one of the best teacher in our times. Very loving, very smart, with very precise and accurate information, with loving and great sense of humor. So this is the recording that I'm about to play, and you can listen, then we can discuss and elaborate, and you will see also later on what are the next steps we can take together to make this technology a reality. So enjoy the recording, and we can talk later and elaborate later on.
Bashar, I made today a calculation, and I would like to share it with you to tell me how close I am in order to crystallize the entire field of our planet, the electromagnetic field. Let's say we create a 3 feet Merkaba, in 3 feet in diameter Merkaba, and we encapsulate this Merkaba in 6 iteration sphere. So the biggest sphere is going to be about 10 meters.
No.
So
no more than 3.
Okay.
No more than 3 spheres, no matter what the size.
Okay.
The idea then of applying this to your entire planet is that these kinds of things have to be stationed at different places around the planet.
Yes, and I calculate the stations, and I would like to share with you, so you can let's say give me a confirmation probably. So if we take our planet as a sphere,
yes,
and we divide it with 9 grand circles in such a way that we receive 48 congruent triangles, which we call the least symmetric triangles in our language. Inside of each triangle is going to have in-center. So this in-center is going to look like when we have these 48 triangles, divided the globe in these 48 triangles, and
yes,
the in-sphere of each triangle, if we put one station on that in-center, that's then we're going to have 48 centers, and they're going to be in proximity about 3,330 kilometers from each other, the closest distance.
All right.
And this can create a standing wave, because I found out that it can create a standing wave
yes,
around all the globe. This is what Tesla was thinking.
Yes,
to put
exactly.
7.5 hertz of frequency, and that's then because 7.5 hertz of frequency, it's the distance between those stations. It's like 3,333 kilometers. This is about 90 hertz. This is 12 times bigger. And in the equator, in each grand circle, we're going to have 12 stations.
Just to clarify here that this 3,330 kilometers, I was calculating that 90 hertz is the wavelength, the frequency 90 hertz, the wavelength is 3,330 kilometers. So it is a kind of harmonic of the Schumann resonance, or 7.5 hertz. So let's continue.
In the periphery of each grand circles, and this can create a standing wave, and we can crystallize the entire electromagnetic field, and thus then we can take the power from the ground, as you mentioned.
Yes. Now, some of these will be in the middle of your ocean, yes?
Yes, but I want to ask you if we can create this idea of the Sierpinski gasket, space-time antenna, how big and how tall it must be the station in order to create the standing wave.
All right, one moment.
And here I would like to stop and also clarify something. When Bashar is making this sound like something like this in his head, he elaborates recently, we understand what this sound means. Somebody asked him, what was the question that we never ask you and you would like to ask you? And he say, what is going on within when I make this sound? And he explained that when he's making this weird sound, he's actually taking conversation with other consciousnesses, other beings, and he consult with somebody. So there are conversation on the background he's making with somebody when he make this sound. But let's continue with the recording. Just wanted to clarify that. He's making the calculations here and will give us
Tower height, approximately 33 feet. Diameter of outer sphere on top of tower, anywhere between 6 to 10 feet in diameter.
Only that small?
Oh yes.
And
if you have them aligned properly, that will be enough of a resonance to crystallize if there are enough stations as you have laid it out.
We were talking about 48 stations, the way I explained.
Yes, yes. Correct? So we are giving you the general measurements for that number. So anywhere from 6 to 10 feet in diameter for the outer sphere. Work your way back in terms of the phi ratios to the center to figure out the construction of the rest. And approximately 30 to 33 feet tall as towers.
It will not interfere the bigger buildings, that wave frequency, it will not stop it?
No, because what's going to happen is certain frequencies will pass right through them, and the idea is that each tower is going to step those things down in a certain way and resonate back out in a certain way that it won't really matter whether there are structures nearby or not.
Okay, thank you. That's very important to know. And they should be tuning 7.5 hertz of
7.5, 7.58 approximately, yes. That range is fine.
Well, this is just part. The recording will continue a little bit more. Just want to elaborate a little bit more. In the last private session this year, Bashar explained that Nikola Tesla, right now in spirit, and he realized that the devices that he was building, the Tesla Tower, which was 57 meters tall, they can be done and can be much smaller than he thought initially. And because when he say 33 feet tall towers, I was surprised because this is about 10 meters and the Tesla Tower was 57 meters. It was 6 times bigger. And because we have nowadays much bigger buildings and skyscrapers and stuff like that, I was wondering if this is not going to interfere. But as you can listen, Bashar explained what's going to happen, and this is not going to be the case. Will be a lot more information, but let's take it step at a time and listen the remaining of the recording.
You may need a few of what we have already described as the 33-foot towers. You may need at least 3 of them per the idea of a large-scale area like a town or a city.
Now Bashar is talking about, because we ask him different questions, how we can scale this. Can we use it locally and in order to power a town or city? How many of those we're going to need? And that was a question. And Bashar explained that about 3 of these, with the dimension that he mentioned, can be enough to power and to create a field strong enough to power the entire city. So just wanted to elaborate because you didn't hear the question before. It was different excerpt, different cut from the recording, so just wanted to elaborate on that.
And these towers, they can be in a conical shape of 19.5 degree. Is that going to change?
No. Just the tower is just straight up.
Straight up, okay.
Yes.
If it's in a conical shape, like it's not going to affect anything. It's just
it won't matter.
Tower.
No. That's just a design sense. There's nothing to it.
The tower is non-conductive. It can be from concrete, just to hold the device on the top.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, of course, you might want to use lighter material, but that's up to you.
So the recording, it will be a few seconds, and we're going to ask Bashar how the device is tapping into the energies, and he will give us a little bit more clue what is going on and from where this energy is coming from.
Well, it's not so much capturing particles in the way that you mean that. The highest level of it will, to some degree, access the vortices that you, in your science, have referred to as virtual particles.
Yes,
but they're just energy vortices. In the form in which the antenna is accessing it, it's only accessing them as energy vortices, not as actual particles.
So this is one way that the device is working. It's accessing, let's say, the substructure of physical reality, the invisible, very deep in the microscopic world. And it's how they call it the undertones of the energy. And it's drawing from there, but also at the same time, it's accessing the overtones, the macrocosmos or the fields, the surrounding fields, and it's drawing also from the fields at large, as they call it. So when we concentrate the energy with this device, the extra energy, it's coming not only from the subatomic level, but also from the field at large, because it's a fractal shape. And as a fractal can contract infinitely, the fields, but also they can expand infinitely, and they contract and expand in a very, very rapid rates, accessing both the subatomic structure, but also the fields at large, and condensing and compressing that energy towards the center. We can talk about this a lot more, but I just wanted to share with you that this kind of device in the bigger scale, only 48 of those space-time antennas can be used the same way Nikola Tesla was thinking, to create his Tesla tower and to empower the electromagnetic field of the entire planet, so we can have electricity wirelessly everywhere. Also, in the future videos I'm about to share, you will see another device that is working in parallel with the space-time antenna, and both of them can be used in order to create a stationary power station, so the energy can be siphoned and can be used like a local power station, not necessary to create that grid. So it can be used both to empower the entire electromagnetic field, or to create local sources of energy by tapping into the Earth energy and the energy of the universe. But we're going to talk about this in other videos. In this video, just wanted to share what is the biggest scale or potential, what we can do actually with this kind of technology, and how powerful can be. Now, what we're going to do with this knowledge from here on, what we're going to do. what are going to be the next 2 or 3 steps we can take together. So the next step is that in this Tuesday, on 10th of December, we're going to have a meeting with a very interesting person. I will have a chance to speak with a professor, John Rack. We're going to make on Tuesday a Zoom call, and we're going to talk about how we can collaborate. He has a huge laboratory and a lot of knowledge in order to see how we can collaborate together and help each other in a different ways. So for those of you who don't know who is John Rack, let me help you to clarify and to bring more information about this person, because it's very interesting. I just recently learned about it. He have a website which is called Scalar Fields, and John Rack is ultra-relativistic nuclear physicist. His very short resume of him. John Rack is a professor of nuclear physics. He worked at the Institute of Nuclear Physics, participated in research and experiments in CERN in Geneva. This is where the big collider is when they accelerate particles in order to understand what is the substructure of physical reality, what is the smallest particles, how the energy actually organizes into matter, into bigger energy fields and stuff like that. So he worked in the CERN in Geneva and completed a fellowship at the Max Planck Institute. So I'm going to use the chat GPT to elaborate a little bit about what is this Max Planck Institute and what is this fellowship for those of you who are more curious and who don't know. Also for myself, because I want to be familiar and to learn more about that person in order to ask him more relevant questions. So I'm going to use chat GPT and see what actually is this institute, because I never heard before that. Hey, I would like to ask you about to have more familiarity with Professor John Rack and to understand what it means to complete a fellowship at the Max Planck Institute in Heidelberg, in the National Laboratory of Brookhaven in USA. What are those institutes and laboratories?
Sure. Completing a fellowship at the Max Planck Institute in Heidelberg means being part of a prestigious research community in Germany. The Max Planck Institutes are renowned for cutting-edge research in various scientific fields. A fellowship there involves conducting high-level research, often in collaboration with leading scientists. Brookhaven National Laboratory in the USA is another top-tier research institution. It's known for work in nuclear and particle physics, among other disciplines. A fellowship at Brookhaven means engaging in advanced experiments and studies, often involving particle accelerators or other high-tech equipment. Both institutions are at the forefront of scientific discovery, so completing a fellowship at either signifies a high level of expertise and involvement in leading research projects.
When you say particle accelerators, do you mean something like a cyclotron, or what exactly do you mean?
Yes, a particle accelerator is a machine that accelerates atomic or subatomic particles, like protons or electrons, to very high speeds, often close to the speed of light. Cyclotrons are one type of particle accelerator, but there are several others, including linear accelerators, LINACs, synchrotrons, and the aforementioned relativistic heavy ion collider, RHIC. These machines use electric and magnetic fields to propel particles along a set.
All right.
Hey.
It's written here that Dr. John Rack also conducted experiments at the RHIC accelerator. What is this kind of accelerator?
The RHIC accelerator, or relativistic heavy ion collider, is a type of particle accelerator located at Brookhaven National Laboratory. It's designed to collide heavy ions, like gold nuclei, at relativistic speeds, which means speeds close to the speed of light. By doing so, it creates conditions similar to those just after the Big Bang, allowing scientists to study quark-gluon plasma and the fundamental properties of matter under extreme conditions. The RHIC is unique in its ability to collide polarized protons, providing valuable insights into the spin structure of protons as well.
All right, and also it says that Jan, it's taught ultra-relativistic nuclear physics at Jyväskylä University in Finland. What is this kind of university?
The University of Jyväskylä in Finland is a well-regarded institution, particularly known for its research and teaching in various fields, including physics. Teaching ultra-relativistic nuclear physics at this university means Dr. Jan Rack taught an advanced course focused on the behavior of atomic nuclei under extreme conditions. The University of Jyväskylä has a strong reputation in the natural sciences, and being involved there implies a commitment to high-quality research and education.
And lastly, I would like to explain and elaborate for those people who don't know what it means that Dr. Jan was also authored and co-authored of more than 500 papers in prestigious scientific journals.
Sure. Being an author or co-author of over 500 papers in prestigious scientific journals means that Dr. Jan Rack has contributed to a vast number of research articles. These journals are known for their rigorous peer review process and high standards, so publishing in them is a significant achievement. Each paper presents original research findings, experiments, or reviews of existing knowledge in a specific scientific area. Being an author or co-author on so many papers indicates that Dr. Rack has been actively involved in a wide range of scientific studies and has made substantial contributions to his field. It also reflects a high level of expertise and collaboration with other researchers.
Thank you. So as you can see, Dr. Jan Rack is a very interesting person who have a lot of knowledge, and he's also very excited to explore the work of Nikola Tesla. I begin to watch his videos and they're very interesting. They create high voltage, high frequency Tesla transformers, and they observe a cold electricity that the metals are cooling down to low temperatures, but when you touch them, you can be burned. So this relates to the knowledge that I received from the extraterrestrials, that they work with very high potentials, because cold temperature can cold or hot are actually field activities, and they explain how cold temperatures relate to very high potentials in the energy, in the fields. So it will be very interesting Zoom call that will take place in 2 days, also involve other people, other engineers from his group, and not only. And I'm very excited, very eager to see how we can collaborate and how we can exchange and what we can do in order to move the idea of zero-point energy or free energy closer to our reality in our daily lives. So this is going to be the next step that is going to take, that we're going to make in 2 days. Then in another 2 days on Thursday, which is 12th of December, I'm going to make a Zoom call and begin to share more information to lay a foundation, to begin to explain a little bit more about those devices that Bashar is talking about, more about those ideas from public sessions, also from our private sessions, a small excerpt, and to talk about this. And my idea is to make this Zoom call because I would like to finish at the end with questions and answers. Those of you who are curious, who want to explore and conduct research and experiments, to be able to ask questions and to exchange more information with you, to talk face to face, so I can share much more information, because I'm sure you may have very relevant questions. So this Zoom call, it will be on 12th of December, just in 4 days. And as I said, I will present much more recordings and videos and audios about what we talk with Bashar and how those devices are actually working, what are the principles, what is the difference between our conventional science and the science that is coming from these extraterrestrial sources, how they are covered from other sources, from other civilization that is in parallel with this, and that, I mean, they are not connected directly with Bashar, who is from Esesani. And hopefully we can make this in a weekly basis, every week, to have a Zoom call with you, finishing with questions and answers. So I can, because there's a lot to share. And also the other step that we can take, the third step, is to share with you how you can conduct experiments if you are curious, if you are excited, in your home or in your place, which will be low budget experiment, and it will be related to teleportation. I'm just purchasing right now different tools that are not very expensive and that can be able to reveal the principle, the basic principle of teleportation, which is very interesting, and we're going to talk about different videos. But my idea is that I would like to give you also tools for those of you who want to really put your fingers into the water to experiment, not just to share information, but to share basic, very concrete, very specific steps you can do in order to create your own experiments in a low budget, about $200-300, so you can begin and put your feet in the water, and together with you to make a research and gather different idea, insights that you may have, and really collaborate together. So in the last private session, which was this year, on July, if I'm not mistaken, Bashar explained that there are 3 key components in order for this to take a completely new level. He said that collaboration, communication, and communities are the 3 keys that they will open a completely new dimension of this, because it's not only about free energy, it's not only about to make these things into fruition, but also how we are working, how we are doing that, how we collaborating. Are we working alone, closed and isolated, like I did up to now almost? Or we can see collaboration with many other people and exchange knowledge and exchange ideas and amplify and magnify this idea together in a completely different way. So this, it will be the next few steps that I'm going to take, and we will see what synchronicity and inspiration will bring. So lastly, before I finish this video, I'd like to say that in the beginning, I was thinking that this is only about 0-point energy and generation of higher output than the input. But at the end, right now, I know that it's not only about that, because these devices and this technology and this information, it relates to the subatomic structure, to the substructure of physical reality, to, as they call it, the corpuscular field, which we're going to talk. So this corpuscular field is actually the structure of a consciousness. And everything in life is made out of consciousness, because there is nothing else that can be made out of. And by understanding this corpuscular field of the consciousness, we can see how consciousness can interact with itself to create different energies, amplification, or substances. And we can use it to understand more about who we are, even spiritually, in the invisible world, to create not just energy, but also to create different ways of communication by modulating that energy in a completely different way, to modulate that energy 3-dimensionally or multidimensionally in a fractal manner, and communicate in a vast distances of space instantly. So it can be used also for communication. It can be used for anti-gravity. It will unravel completely different paradigm and completely different understanding about the world outside of us and also within us. It can be used also spiritually to understand how the mind, the body, and the spirit, they are connected, and there is nothing outside of this, because all this information is based on natural laws and also on cosmic laws and it's interconnected everything as one whole idea, and we can explore just different aspects, but no matter how many aspects we explore, we're going to see that everything is interconnected. In a sense, we can say that this information or this knowledge is relative to the unified theory that we can finally understand and create peace between the big and the small, between the general relativity and the quantum mechanic. They can find an agreement and they can find a peace and be compatible, complement each other instead of have contradictions, right, up to now in our conventional physics. So this is everything I'd like to share in this video. If you are interested and if you are excited, I will see you on Thursday and also share with you how our meeting with Dr. Jan Rag was all about. And yeah, we will see where the wind, when the flow will take us. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.